The elves from the nation of Elflandea have proven that they are both hard to kill and mighty in their usage of conjuration and divination. This is their story of survival. A mid-autumn day in the nation of Elflandea, the harvest was done in this fertile land several weeks ago. The stores of grain full, the attention of most of the nation would naturally be moving towards fishing right now. The fall fishing season would mark the time when the fat trout get most aggressive as they store up for their winter hibernation. The waters are starting to cool. A fisherman's preferred methods are hook line in netting or archery. A fishing boat has a small crank wheel attached to the finest spider silk fishing line, which is used to help reel in a fish that the fortunate archer was able to hit. Right now, though there is a huge break on the fishing front this weekend, the lodges of the upper lakes of Sacramento are all empty. The cooling rivers that feed these lakes are producing fantastic 10-pound jumpers, but all of the eyes of the nation of Elflandea are diverted towards the conflict between the two main rival houses in the capital city of Sacramento. As two heroes whose dichotomy and philosophies clash this weekend, the event marks the political power struggle that has endured for over 300 years. The duel of Valcatal is a seldom used elven ritual where two parties mitigate their differences. Valcatal has not been used in over 150 years.
On one side of the conflict is the house of the Selenios, led by Adonis. He is brash and powerful, aggressive and beautiful. Adonis is an elf from ancient Greece, sent by the elven goddess of love, Selenio, to aid the nation of Elflandea when they needed love and compassion the most. The elven goddess of love, Selenio, is so named because elven love remains eternal for centuries. An elf might live for 2,000 years, and the loyalty that an elf shares for their true love is expected to last a lifetime and beyond. Adonis the Mighty had arrived over 300 years ago to help Elflandea to reach the status when the High Elves ruled. The High Elves' reign, which lasted for many centuries and many elven lifetimes, marked a period of time when elves were accepted by other races. But most worlds are led by humanity, and humanity is a jealous lot. Humanity desires to take what it cannot make. Humanity desires to rule and possess what it can where it can. And the noble high elves were driven away by the opportunists through false treaties and promises. Not all, but most of humanity drove the high elves away, and when they were lost, so were the 20 high elven artifacts of lore. Adonis was sent by his goddess Selenio to help the last high elven queen, Tolan, to rebuild this nation. Tolan, for all her beauty, grace, and kind heart, was turned to ash some 300 years ago. Upon her death, Ranadar became the queen, first by birthright and then by action, as the queen of Sacramento. All that remains of Tolan is her sword. The sword of Tolan, half-elven, which Adonis bears, one of the last high elven artifacts. So all eyes of this nation, called Elflandea, are focused now upon the Ring of Honor. The Ring of Honor, a Colosseum-like building made from living trees. The elven druids and tree huggers, the 73rd Mountaineers, skillfully grow all of the trees of Sacramento into living buildings and structures. The Ring of Honor is made of millions of trees to form a living lattice in the form of this huge building where major events are held, competitions, and elves train. At the center of the arena is a magical glass wall that protects the crowd from errant missiles and munitions. Everyone is clamoring to get a chosen seat at this event. The elves of Sacramento are all caught up in the ceremony of the event. The atmosphere is jovial, a huge party for a nation to get away from their daily stresses and discover who will be the next hero of Sacramento. The event has been in progress for 5 days, a party of disproportional size as a distressed nation forgets it all for holiday week of festivities. Elvin Griffin, riders grab ribbons set in an obstacle course competing who can fly the fastest, which marks the start of the weekend event. There is merriment among the crowd as people are entertained by an older elven wizard dressed as a noble that polymorphs a knife into various blades.
Buy my knives, so sharp, the finest of all knives, the gunsu blade. You only need one knife that does it all.
Only $19.99 wood chips for a gunsu? Give me two.
The buyer seizes the moment.
You get two for $19.99 wood chips. But wait, there's more. You also get...
He's mobbed by a crowd that is willing to buy his knives. Not so lucky for another seller.
Aff, buy my mushrooms and your horse will fly.
It's a great spectacle and much fanfare, but no one believes this honest vendor with poor marketing skills. Various foods are for sale. Wyvern meat, giant mushrooms, and Miravar wine that has healing abilities reads from a sign. Another vendor, an elven mage assistant dressed as a commoner with silver gray hair and amber eyes, engages in a conversation with Esto, an elven fighter, magic user, thief-clad in leather armor with a long sword at his side with brown hair and amber eyes over spell components.
I want to barter with Hamlin, not the help.
He's not here. He's selling his new reed sauce.
Do you have skin from a flame giant? I will need to cast a strength spell.
Not right now. The Carillions bought us out of stock. I have a fire dragon's tooth for a flame shield or fire protection. Toenail clippings from a 200-year-old troll for regeneration.
How do you prevent the troll from regenerating?
A good magician never tells all of his tricks.
They are interrupted by an impatient female elf.
How much is this, Davinica? I was here before that elf. I demand service.
So sorry. My healing root is pure. Notice the white color.
How much?
Davinica is not cheap, but worth every woodshop.
People are clamoring for tickets for this event.
You're simply a loser unless you get a hold of one. I'll sell you a ticket for the upper treehouse for 500 wood chips.
A prospective buyer comes forward.
When is it?
What's wrong with you? Everyone knows it's tomorrow at noon.
Oh.
It's a festive mood of food and music. Hamlin, the homebody, is a middle-aged, somewhat portly entrepreneurial elf dressed like a noble merchant. Hamlin was once a member to the Carillions, the rival temple of the Selenials, but he decided 70 years ago that he no longer wanted to live in the fear of those more powerful than himself. This was a life-changing event when he attended one of Adonis' seminars on unlocking your true potential. He holds no ill will to the former employers, because that of course would be bad for business, since he left the Carillions and has become a Selenial under Adonis. Hamlin has become a real estate developer, renovating some of the finest street houses in Sacramento. He hires his own crews led by his head subcontractor, Tomas, and he works and heads Adonis' Library of Monster Research. Adonis gives Hamlin a library and Hamlin provides material components for Adonis in both his alchemy and scroll writing projects. Hamlin's business is very successful, since many elves need material components for the magic spells and scrolls that they create. Hamlin has become the best source for any and all material components. He is also well known to pay for rare and unusual parts of rare monsters. Some free will livers criticize Hamlin for his trade, profit, and magical monster parts, but most see his work as a means of national security. Hamlin is an independent businessman and embodies the spirit of capitalism where some people see him lacking focus. Hamlin sees the world as one large opportunity, hence all of his different business units. He owes much to Adonis, and he is now very loyal to the elf that had made him more than he could ever dream of. Hamlin is shrewd in his contract writing and always looking to make a profit. He never leaves Sacramento, preferring others to run his errands. He simply is the capitalistic facilitator to these transactions. Hamlin's most recent project is the development of a mixture of spices that he has given by the many traveling elves across the many planes of existence. He started mixing these spices and created a flavor that is unparalleled. Seizing the opportunity and understanding how to market well, he has just recently started to create the commercial version of the product and distributes the mix of spices across the greater elven populations throughout the different worlds. Well, at least that is the plan. Hamlin explains to anyone that cares to listen that all people, elves or human or otherwise, have 4 different receptors in their mouths: bitter, salt, sweet, and sour. Hamlin's blend of spices stimulates all of your tongue at once, maturing in the mouth as stages of flavors. Hamlin is slightly overweight, selling a mixture of spices as a street vendor to Salagab, his former boss and assistant high priest to the Temple of the Corellians. He is ornately dressed, almost gaudy in silver outfit, and silver hair and violet eyes.
Hello, noble sir. Why don't you try some of this?
He hands the priest a piece of bread with a dark reddish-orange paste spread.
Why, this is quite good. Where does it come from?
It's an unusual mixture of different spices from different cultures and many different worlds. I mixed them all together. It makes all food better. Try it on mutton, bread, fish, salads, beef, and chicken.
Let me try some more then. It's quite elven.
It just makes all food better. And you can try it on any cultural dish.
It's quite an amazing taste. What do you call it?
Reet sauce, because it's real excitement in your tongue.
Salagab is the assistant high priest to the Temple of the Corellians. He has been a friend to Copenhagen for several centuries and is a well-known politician in Sacramina. He sits on the Council of Judges, passing judgment on the most important matters of Elven State. He also runs the internal workings of Copenhagen's organization as the operations manager to the Corellians' main temple. Salagab enjoys the finer side of life. He spares no expenses to his creature comforts. He is both shrewd and loyal to Copenhagen and a powerful ally. A bit materialistic, he enjoys spending all the wood chips that he earns. He understands well how to manipulate others in order to achieve a desired result. He wants whatever he can in order to benefit himself. He can justify the smashing of a few souls by simply stating that it's just business. Salagab is an upper-level cleric. He is the perfect example that might is measured often beyond martial arts and magical ability. Mastery of the hearts and minds of people will win the day, no matter the cost. Salagab is joined by Copenhagen, a veteran leader clad in elven chainmail. Shiny silver with accents of azure, he is ornate in dress, has a lot of jewelry, rings, necklaces, a one strapped to his traveler's pack belt, and 2 long swords at each hip. His eyes are amber, and his hair is golden blonde. Lean and muscular, middle-aged and weathered for a veteran elf, he is one of the top leaders of elves of Sacramina. Some consider him the king of the elves.
We are broke now. We might have to go on the warpath and plunder a dragon or 2 to recover our funds.
I agree.
I don't see any other way. This duel is the only reasonable way for us to take back the staff of Airdrin. It's rightfully ours.
You were the first to recover the staff from the daemons, both times.
There are always lawyers anxious to profit on the unfortunate. It is so un-elven.
Don't get me started on lawyers. They get paid first and don't always broker on your behalf.
I just want what is right for me and our people. I really see no other solution at this point.
The duel of Volktal has not been performed in over 150 years. It's a lesser version of open war in solving this dispute. Are you prepared?
I believe that I am ready. I have beaten him down several times, all in training.
I agree, and you're most certain to beat down that effing pretty boy this time, too. Especially since our God himself has bestowed upon you increased stamina.
Yes, a blessing from a god himself is powerful. I have very reasonable chance of beating the off-planar Adonis.
It seems that the elven gods have an interest in this event as well, since both have given their blessings to each of you. I hear that Adonis will be rewarded the services of an angel of mercy if he beats you.
We also have the support of Ranadar, our queen, in this contest as well. She's an ace up our sleeve.
She seems very favorable to you in more ways than just affairs of state. It is your destiny to win back the favor of the elven kingdom of Sacramina and the queen for the Temple of the Carillions.
Copenhague is an aged veteran of many campaigns and is the long-standing hero of Sacramina. Not since the days of Elven Queen Towlin has there been a more reverend hero of the people. Copenhague is an elf of great stature, ego and power. He commands 3 full wings of griffin riders, clad in their mithril steel, they rule the skies above. He is an honorable hero of old that can recall the days when the high elves ruled Elflandea. Copenhague, like Adonis, has many followers. Their views have clashed for many years as their once admiration for each other has degraded to blind hatred for one another. Copenhague believes in tradition and rule by force. He loves to put fear in his opponents. Orc, human, or elven, no race matters as long as it gets the power that he desires. Copenhague is an accomplished general, a high priest to his followers, an accomplished warrior, and a great mage. Copenhague understands that you need to be ruthless in garnering the glory. He believes in winning at all costs. Copenhague has won countless battles outwitting the orcs, and under his command has beaten the hordes of undead creatures from capturing Sacramina countless times. Though the forest of the Rhubarb, he has been well known for many centuries. There is no stopping Copenhague from being the greatest hero that Sacramina has ever seen. The following day, the arena grounds are cleared of all the festivities. An announcer introduces the 2 contestants of the Duel of Valkatal. A huge crowd of over 50,000 elves are in attendance for the main event. Nearly every elf is present to watch this duel. Pixies and sprites fly high above, crashing some free seats in the tree boughs above the upper-level mezzanine seats.
Today we have the big event you have all so anticipated. Adonis the defendant will fight Copenhague the plaintiff. The rules for the Duel of Valkatal are simple. The last elf standing wins, no direct damage, magic allowed, no summoning, no familiars, and all combat swings are strike to subdue only, not kill. Any violation of the rules is subject to immediate forfeiture.
Both contestants surrender their wands. Adonis, high priest of the Selenials, is clad in golden field plate mail armor with crimson trim. The sword of Tolan, a high elven relic in the form of a bastard sword strapped across his shoulder, and a longbow over the other shoulder. On his belt is a short sword, hand axe, and several large shurikens are attached to his armor, with a rod and wand strapped to his traveler's belt. High hard boots and an oversized belt with images and runes carved into it of giants. He is strikingly handsome, beautiful in some ways, with long silver hair and violet eyes, more mature and collected than any adult approaching middle age. Adonis detaches his lightning wand from his bastard sword. Copenhague surrenders his wand of many missiles to the referee. Copenhague, with 2 long swords at his side, clad in a chainmail, various magical gems are encrusted into his armor. Copenhague, full of confidence and desire for power, seizes his heavy lance and vaults high into the sky, landing on Griffin's saddle. Copenhague's griffin with matching silver elven chainmail with azure highlights has a double Klinglor saddle and a great number of rods across its breast, snarls and drools at the sight of his next meal, Adonis's Pegasus. The Pegasus, clad in elven chainmail, also has a double Klinglor saddle with a great number of rods across his breastplate, seems unfazed. These are the strongest mounts in all Sacramento. The staff of Airdrie, a 4-foot long quarterstaff, the prize to this contest, is made of ancient elven wood, adamantium, shod and carved with ancient elven runes and scripture. This powerful relic from greater elven days sits before Ranadar and awaits the winner of the contest.
The midday sky is clear and the huge crowd is frothing with anticipation. Most bookies have a slight edge to Copenhagen, but for most people they believe that the fight is evenly matched. As both riders mount up on tape to the sky, they rise into the sky, and so does the hopes of a nation. They fly circles opposite one another in the vast arena. The duel starts, but rather than Copenhagen flying to attack with his heavy lance, he flies over towards Queen Ranadar. In a surprising move, she throws her sword to him, the sword of Eladar, a high elven relic. The sword can fully heal and also provide flame giant strength. Copenhagen catches the blade easily. He telekinesis the sword over the magical force field and into his hand and activates the strength magic immediately. Copenhagen is now very sure of himself. Armed with the ancient sword and blessed constitution from his god, he's unbeatable. The staff of Airdrie will be recovered from the pretty boy Deep Adonis, and honor and glory will be restored to Copenhagen's temple. Copenhagen brings his griffin on a dive attack on Adonis and his Pegasus. He braces his heavy lance, anticipating an earth-shattering charge that has been known to have slayed dragons. But Adonis has other ideas, and the wheels on his composite bow roll back into a firing position. The materials of the bow strain against Adonis's giant strength as he releases 2 arrows hitting Copenhagen's griffin. Most arrows would deflect off the mithril-clad armor, but Adonis has a composite bow modified to fit the gaudy air giant strength belt that he wears. The runes light up on the belt when these 2 arrows are released. They impact with the force of a giant and slam through the mithril armor of the griffin. Copenhagen's mount flutters to the ground, using a levitate matrix to soften the impact of landing. Both of the high priests fall lightly to earth, aided by their magic, ready to resume the fight. Each grabs boulders and throws the rocks at each other, but both of them have enchanted strength and both parties are equally matched as they catch and throw the rocks at each other, 6 throws and 6 catches. The crowd cheers with each throw and catch, but clearly they have stalemated again. Copenhagen fires first the holding spell, but Adonis is able to absorb it with his rod of reflection. The adamantium rod, polished black, allows the user to absorb the energy of any magic spell, and then allows the user to redirect any spell energy into the user's own spells. Adonis fires back the stored energy from the rod directly back at Copenhagen in the form of a webbing spell. The sticky fibers spread across the arena, but Copenhagen is able to avoid them. Copenhagen casts a paralyzation ray, which Adonis absorbs again, and he sends the spell back as a holding spell. Copenhagen sidesteps the spell that has no effect. They cast a barrage of spells at one another, and neither one affects the other. The magic spells shoot back and forth like laser beams.
So we're evenly matched. Our abilities are equal. This contest is not over. F you!
Copenhagen fires a webbing spell that seems to engulf Adonis but is absorbed into his rod again. Copenhagen casts a prayer, blessing, helping flame shield upon himself, and draws out his long swords, the sword of Eladar and his magical glowing sword. He charges Adonis to melee. Adonis uses the stored energy from his rod and calmly casts a flame shield on himself and a cancel magic. A breath of arctic wind dispels the flame from Copenhagen's flame armor. He draws out his 2 bastard swords, the sword of Tolan in his right hand and his force wand in his left. The crowd gasps as the 2 combatants fight with 2 of the ancient high elven artifacts which has never taken place before. Both warriors fight hard, swings and parries, wing blocks, counterattacks and feats. The combat is blinding as the 2 rivals bitterly fight each other. The 4 blades clash. Neither gains the advantage. The crowd cheers for each of the heroes. Copenhagen, The wily veteran swings low under Adonis' parry and manages to hit Adonis with a crushing blow, knocking Adonis to his knees. But the fire shield of Adonis invokes a white dragon head that bites Copenhagen, severely wounding him. Adonis is hurt, but Copenhagen takes double the damage. Copenhagen's increased endurance helps him to sustain the damage and keeps him in the fight. Copenhagen activates his ring of force that creates a force shield around and pushes the wounded Adonis away from him. Copenhagen is about to heal himself from the safety of his force shield. Adonis knows that he must act quickly while Copenhagen is still wounded. Aggressively, Adonis takes the riskier move and instead of healing himself, teleports inside the force shield and hits Copenhagen once with his force wand. Copenhagen falls. He's down. Adonis teleports himself outside of the force shield. He is hurt and strains to rise, but sustains the blow. Bleeding openly, he then heals himself. Ranadar grudgingly offers the staff, which Adonis telekineses to him. He stands tall, claiming the staff of Airdrain. The crowd cheers their new champion.
The Temple of Adonis is an intricate treehouse built as a temple to the elven goddess of Selenial. A base operation, a flight deck, a training group, horse stable, library, alchemy research academy, school of magic, and above all, a status symbol of Adonis's power. The idea of the grandiose plan was created by the druid Orpheus and master thief Tyron comrades of Adonis several centuries ago. They had both died in a quest for the staff of Verdream. Although Sacramina has many huge buildings throughout the land, the Temple of Adonis is the most updated, and it as large as the Temple of the Carillians, the Royal Elven Palace, and the Ministry of Civil Action. Only the Ring of Honor is larger than any of these freestanding structures. All of the elven architecture is made from trees that have been controlled to grow in a way that allows elves to live inside them and create amazing living wood homes. More typically, an elf of more common stature would live in a simple treehouse of single-story construction of 3 bedrooms without running water. But the immense size of the larger structures will require their own water systems, both internally and externally. Legends state that Adonis funded the building of this immense treehouse through the adventuring plundering of 100 years with his wife Donica, her twin sister Marlinica, and his brother-in-law Corin. The total cost exceeded 3 million wood chips. Several thousand trees imported from the giant woods were brought to Sacramina for the construction of this building. Upper levels are interconnected with bridges with handrails. Upper level rooms have their own private access. The treehouse of Adonis is home to 1,000 elves and a few various other creatures. A metallic dragon lives in the upper levels, so is the flight deck for the 23rd Air Armored Cavalry. Outside stand 2 100-foot iron golems, each armed with 15-foot magical swords. They act as sentries along with an amber golem and a frost salamander. Many elves that worship Selenial, as well as many other creatures, pixies, sprites, leprechauns, dryads, wood nymphs, centaurs, satyr, woodmen, and Adonis's companion, metallic dragon. The High Elven Queen, along with her royal guard of female cavaliers, and the High Elven Council are present as well. Even the Dark Elves have sent their representative, Alamar the Cruel, and a young assistant female elf, Cartha. Copenhagen refuses to attend this event. He has lost the duel of Valkatol to Adonis for the staff of Verdream and despises his rival further. Adonis addresses the standing room only event in the main worship hall. A large fountain flows near the center stage. Adonis shows the crowd a beautiful necklace made of gold and places the offering in the waters of the fountain. The necklace disappears in the shallow pool as the offering is accepted.
Dearly beloved worshippers of our goddess Selenial, we are gathered here today to show our respect for our guardians of our freedom. We ask our goddess to bless our brave warriors. We are here today to show our support for our brave new wing of Pegasus Riders. Over 2 centuries ago, I came to this plane and brought a message of hope from our goddess. I came to help restore our elven sovereignty and aid to reclaim the 20 high elven relics that will make our people proud again. I came as an off-planer, but through these centuries I've seen the character and determination in many of you. Today we are a family. I've seen the struggles that many of you have overcome, and I can truly say that we all have problems in our lives. Sometimes we create our own challenges, and often we're afflicted with drama by others. Regardless, our true test of character is how we rise above and overcome these challenges. Our challenges will define the elf that you are. I'm so proud to be your leader. These are challenging times for our people. We have faced destruction, enslavement, and domination. We've been victims of genocide for many centuries now and are a dying race. But we cannot go down without a fight. Together, we can make that difference. One arrow, one sword, one elf at a time. We have an opportunity to show the orcs the power of our magic, the strength of elven steel. We can send a clear message to all races that would dare to challenge our right to exist. We all must become noble leaders in our cause for survival. For if we fail to answer this cause, there is no one that will save us. I'm so proud to be your leader. At this historic event we all bear to witness today, we stake our claim with high honor. We dare to challenge the other races of humankind, of dwarven, of halfling, of gnome, of goblin, of orc, of hobgoblin, of giant, that we will not allow you to destroy our people. We stand united as a people to fight for our right to live. If you oppose our right, we will conjure our greatest magic. We will feel the sting of our arrows and the sharpness of our sword. We'll be defeated by a united people. I'm so proud to be your leader. Together there's no challenge that we cannot overcome. At the request of our High Elven Queen Ranadar, we have created the newly formed 23rd Air Armored Cavalry. We will support the leadership of Copenhagen that will define our borders. I introduce to you the 23rd Air Armored Cavalry Supreme Air Commander, leader, my dear friend Corin. His expertise in the saddle and accuracy of his arrows are only rivaled by his honor and commitment to our survival. I present to you my son Captain Premina, who has done much off-plane, but is nonetheless stalwart in his commitment to our adopted elven home. These are our heroes, our defenders of our freedom to live. Let us pay all of our respects to these honorable warriors. I'm so proud that they will lead us to our salvation.
Donica and Adonis have been married for nearly 3 centuries. Their marriage is built on true love, and like most relationships, it has not always been perfect. But they stay with each other out of respect, loyalty, and faith in one another. They know that they complement each other well, and they don't want to give up on their past, present, or future. They met in very challenging times when they were both trying to establish themselves and break free from an oppressive life. Like many elves, they wanted more out of life. They have always had the same goals in common, which has kept their marriage solid despite life's challenges. A long time ago, they made an agreement to always recognize their potential to work with each other. She may take the lead on something that she is better versed, and at the same for him. This simple agreement has helped in managing both elves' egos. Over the centuries, they built the kind of respect that few relationships could endure. Donica is stunningly beautiful to both humans and elves. She has garnished a great deal of attention throughout her many centuries of life. She knows that their relationship is often looked up to by others, since she, like Adonis, is a high priest to their goddess Selenial. They are role models by default, not by choice. But at the same time, they have chosen to allow others to actualize their true potential, something that no one embellishes. She had stressed this to a younger Adonis when he rescued her from her brother. In many ways, Adonis has always played the pretty boy, tough guy, but to her, he is romantic and loving, a side that few others see. Every week, Adonis writes a new poem to his wife, regardless of what affairs of state, missions, or otherwise. Adonis has always been dedicated to his wife. Donica is the emotional, passionate caregiver and a true mother to their children. Where Adonis creates edges to cut through life's problems, Donica creates the balance that elves often need to remain stable.
Likewise, Donica saved Adonis too when he had lost his queen and needed someone to bring him up. When he needed someone to train him to his potential, Donica has been there for Adonis. The relationship has been one of necessity, but the love that they share is real, and they know that they have many more centuries of hardship ahead. They both seem to understand that what they have decided to undertake on that moonlit night across the Aegean Sea some 300 years ago was only the beginning, and that the results of their efforts are still unknown. She is proud of him in many ways, not necessarily ego-driven or boastful, but more along the lines of how Adonis has matured, respect based on performance. To the rest of the world, he is a hard ass, always pushing his followers for more, but he knows deep inside that he truly loves his people and only wants the best for them. He is only a facilitator in love, and it's that love for her as well as the love for the people of Elflandea that keeps the entire organization together. Donica, extremely beautiful, appears young but really mature for her age, dressed scantily that reveals the shapely curves of her body, violet eyes and silver hair, cries for the success of her son Premina. She addresses Adonis. He is dressed more leisurely, noble golden robes with red accents. She's sad, happy, and concerned, and her feelings are very apparent.
Donica, extremely beautiful, appears young but really mature for her age. Dressed scantily that reveals the shapely curves of her body. Violet eyes and silver hair, cries for the success of her son Premina. She addresses Adonis. He is dressed more leisurely, noble golden robes and red accents. She's sad, happy and concerned, and her feelings are very apparent.
What is wrong, my love?
I am worried for our oldest son. I know that Premina is powerful, but also understand the danger of an untested wing in organized combat.
Premina is very powerful, and I worry very little for him.
It was not long ago that I had to save my baby boy Premina from a gas dragon when we were securing the trade routes for Elven steel.
Yes, that seemed like centuries ago. He was nearly killed, and you did well at saving him.
How can you laugh about Premina nearly getting killed? He's your son.
Nearly is the key word, and I'm proud of how I prepared him to survive.
I would like to know if Premina is safe under Copenate's leadership. As a mother, I worry for the safety of my son.
There's been no greater elven leader against the orcs other than Copenate. That I've witnessed. Copenate has retrieved the Bull of Durus. I was there. I saw it.
He nearly got you killed on that mission, and his ambition has led to the death of many. I know. I was there.
Although I despise him, he's a very capable leader.
How can I ignore the obvious? Don't you see what he has done? His ambition blinds him.
Don't bring up the past. It pains me too. We're doing well right now. We've worked hard to get where we are.
Can you not go instead of Premina?
I could never serve under Copenhagen. I just beat him at Valcatel. If anything, I should command him.
The Queen would not allow that. I ask you, will Copenhagen honorably treat Premina or send him to his death on a suicide mission?
I've prepared him well, and I'm sure that he'll be fine.
If he dies, it would be so sad to get him back as a reincarnated troll, or perhaps lost forever like Towlin.
Do you really have to mention the past again? Just be happy for what we have.
I understand the sacrifices made to get where we are right now. I am happy that you have the staff. I am afraid of losing more of our loved ones. Our son.
Corin is lead commander, and he's a dear friend that I can trust.
Yes, the same Corin that defected from Copenhagen service. I don't like it.
Giving Corin the command position was the only way I can get him to defect to our temple. He's a Selenial now, not a Carillion.
You are way too trusting.
Premina did leave this crystal ball for you to check up him at any time.
I might be afraid to look. Have you seen the twins lately?
Liz was just a fun-loving child for the majority of her life. It wasn't until the last 100 years did she really have to mature and understand that she has some responsibilities in life. Both of her parents were traveling mages that always wanted to explore and vacation, see the outer planes and beyond. Her father, Dwynelith, a wizard, would tell Ertheus that life is made to explore, and since you are special, the world will fold to your will. Just wish for it, and everything that you desire is yours. Her father would provide everything for his daughter, including a strong sense of entitlement. The years after her parents' death and the isolation of being alone for a century gave her the time to rethink everything that she learned. She is a self-taught mid-level mage. She needs real guidance in her life, and she knows this. This makes her feel vulnerable. Regardless, she needs to trust someone, and right now, it's Premina. She is only now coming to grips and recognizing what her true potential can become. Her practical side keeps her in balance with her emotional side, a necessary skill that was required when she had to keep the trolls away for 100 years, the same trolls that killed her parents. She knows and understands her weakness, and it creates determination. Where others might give up, she has made the decision to strive for better. She is mid-level right now and can only dream of becoming a wizard. The emotions of a new love, her first love, Premina, is a feeling that she has no experience with. 100 years of being alone, and suddenly a handsome elf wielding great power takes her away from a troll-ridden land was more than a dream come true for her. She feels eternally grateful. The pragmatic side in her mind, though, knows that her life is changing and that she must adapt to this new world that Premina has brought her to.
Premina, oldest son to Adonis and Donica, is a rising star in Elflandea. Only 25 years ago, he was a beginner, just coming of age, but he has done outstanding work in the plain of Blackhawk and freed several thousand people from a life of slavery. He and his cousin Carrick led the uprising through swordplay, but also cunning and with solid tactical and leadership skills. Premina has always been a great swordsman. Some say better than his father at the same age. He is powerful, but he doesn't let that overcome his ego. In many ways, it's his mother, Donica's influence. Premina can get emotional at times, something that Ertheus adores in him. But at the same time, he is the son of Adonis and is recently promoted high priest of the elven goddess of love, Selenial. So his sense of responsibility is very high. The moral guidance pushes Premina to do the right thing, despite the loss of personal gain or freedom. Premina has great power beyond his two ancient elven blades that were given to him by Adonis. These are the swords that were once wielded by Adonis' first followers, Barton and Tyron. Premina is an accomplished mage and is nearing name-level wizard status. Marlenica, his aunt, is starting to push Premina to start teaching apprentice elves at the School of First National Magic, the magic school that she recently just established. His aunt, Melenica, says that Primina will make a great leader someday.
Aretheus seeks out her new love, Primina. Aretheus is a beautiful elven mage. She wears a flowing white robe that reveals a soft but fit body. Her hair flows silver and her eyes are amber. Primina wears clothes of noble lineage. He's very handsome, physically strong. He stands over 6 feet tall, very tall for an elf. His hair is golden and eyes are violet. They have not known each other long, but she senses in him that he's concerned about something. They meet on a moonlit night near the shores of one of the rivers of the Lower Sacramina. The skies are purple. A soft breeze blows over the Lower Sacramina lake as the two lovers walk on the shore. Off in the distance, great numbers of elves are caught in a traffic jam as they all head towards the booked-up fishing lodges of the Upper Sacramina Lakes.
How can you know what I'm going through right now?
I don't know. Share with me your pain.
We have only known each other for the last 2 months. I have been enduring him for the last 2.5 centuries.
Premina, my love, you were honorable when you rescued me from those trolls. And if you're honest in promising true love, then we need to be able to communicate and trust one another.
All right, then.
We need to be life partners and best friends. It's not as if I'm casting ESP right now to see that you're troubled.
How can you be so sweet at a time like this? That is so elven.
Getting angry isn't going to help you.
You just haven't had to endure what I've had to.
We all have our challenges. Be honest with me, and I'll be honest with you.
You're sweet, amazing, and beautiful, and far smarter than I am, my lovely Aretheus.
I don't want to see you so upset. Our souls are connected now.
You are an angel and savior to me. I am humbled to have you as my best friend and lover.
And you need your wits about you. You are so emotional. Although I do love that raw emotion that you give me.
I'm supposed to be an example of love. As a high priest to the elven goddess of love, I should show some passion.
Well, your passion is for me, no one else. There's just no benefit to holding that when you must play the hero's role.
You have my love.
Keep in mind that you are the second-ranking officer on this wing, and you are going to need all of your mental strength right now. If something was to befall Corin, you would be in charge of the wing.
You're right. I need to be mentally strong for everyone. I should push my personal emotions aside. That is a choice.
There are other elves that are entrusting their lives towards your decision-making ability. You need to be strong and share some of your burden with me. I want to be your life partner.
For centuries, I had to live in the shadow of the mighty Adonis. Everyone loves him, and I'm continually being compared to his greatness.
Now, you come from a noble family.
But that is what others see of him. For me, he was always so tough on me, especially with the psionic training. When all the other elven kids got a pet Funshi to play with on their 50th birthday, I had to read his mind and then recite everything backwards in Goblin. The swordplay I could handle, but the psionic lessons would drive me crazy.
I understand.
But when he found out that I could dimension door, he would drop me from his Pegasus, and I would need a dimension door to Earth.
Say more.
It is cruel. I don't think it's normal for parents to enjoy making their children suffer.
My love, your father comes from a different age and a world of elves that is far different from the elves of this plane.
Do you think so?
You have social planar gap, a cultural difference. Parents were tougher on their kids back where he comes from. Greece, right?
Yes, Athens.
They had to survive. It was a different world back then. Your father's a bit old school and very tough. I understand your feelings.
I respect him for the deeds that he has done for our people, but as a father, I'm angry and hurt by him. He's uncaring.
Oh, I'm sure your father loves you.
He has never said that, or made me feel that he does. It's not fair. Would it not be so hard to throw a kind word once in a while?
For him, it's not about being popular or well-liked. He feels that being pragmatic and survival is far more important.
If I could afford training under someone else, I would. I wonder if free training is really worth all the abuse.
Now, you have no idea how I would love to be trained.
Maybe I should train under Copenhagen.
That might be your choice.
I wonder if I can ever make the mighty Adonis a happy elf. I don't think that his own twin daughters think much of him either. I am thinking of training them myself when they come of age.
In my life, my parents just wanted to provide and give me everything that I wanted. And I was all too happy to get whatever I asked for.
Like every elf deserves.
They were trying to be friends with me and provide, without knowing that I'm going to need to be able to survive on my own. When it came down to making a difference, I froze.
What happened?
I did not know what to do. I feel so responsible for their deaths, and I miss them dearly. Primina, I did nothing. All I could do was watch them die in front of me.
I had no idea.
It's not something that I talk about often, but I do think about it every day.
You shouldn't live with such guilt. That is so un-elven.
I didn't even know how to cast a mini missile spell then. I am not nearly prepared for survival as yourself. I really wish that I had the guidance that your father gave you.
I am so sorry that you have to bear that burden, my love. You don't have to feel responsible. I am always willing, or my mother can train you as a mage.
I tried my best to be a better mage, but I feel that I'm centuries behind where I need to be. I was trapped on that plane when you rescued me for a very long time.
I am glad that I came when I did. Fate.
My father had the spell for plane travel, not me. When he died, I was trapped. In so many ways, I've been alone, and I don't want to be anymore. My heart is open for love. I'm open for your love.
I don't think that anyone has ever said something so sweet to me. You bring out the best in me, and I appreciate that. We all need to be something more than what we are today.
Back then, I was just like all the other Elven kids. I wanted to have a good time. Why be responsible if you don't have to? Today, I know better. But I had to lose my parents to some trolls for me to see the truth.
It's a tough world, and every day we have challenges large and small. I am here for you forever.
Although anyone can, very few rise to your ability. I wish that I had your ability and experience.
You certainly know how to make me smile.
And I know that your father loves you, or he would not grant you such responsibility.
You really think so?
Everyone knows that you're capable. You and Carrick defeated the slave lords of Blackhawk.
We defeated the slave lords with Adonis, and without him, we would have been lost.
You see, he was there for you when you needed him most.
I am just waiting for the day when he summons me for help.
I'm sure that day will come.
I am not sure that what we did on Blackhawk will make him happier either. I was soundly defeated by Vanlin and had to be raised. I feel that I am being reborn, and I am so happy to have you take this journey with me.
Me too. We have some real adventures to build on.
I need you to show me more about life.
I'm sure that Corwin is very happy with your work against the slave lords. You and Carrick saved thousands of people from oppression.
Yes, indeed, we saved many lives and changed the course of history.
You don't need to worry about Adonis and his happiness. If you're successful in your quest, then I am sure that he will be very proud of you.
I can never tell with him. I can't even ESP him.
Let him show you through his actions, not his words. So, he made you earn and work for it. But there is nothing but wisdom in that. It's made you the elf that you are today. Did you ever get your pet Funchy?
Yes, on my 75th birthday, when I beat him in a psionic battle.
He kisses her deeply as he recalls the first time that he dunked on his father.